Welcome once again. This is Bruce Porter, and in this section we're going to talk about strategies for getting better grades. And I call this strategies for getting better grades because although these strategies will help you in all of your courses, when I think of getting better grade strategies, I specifically think about courses that you don't particularly want to be in, courses that you're not interested in, but you still want to pass them, and hopefully pass them with a good grade. And so, although these strategies will help you, I'm specifically thinking about these courses you don't want to be in, but you still want to get a good grade, strategies for these courses. I want to begin with what I consider the single most powerful get better grade strategy. And this is also a very powerful study strategy. It is to read the material before class, take notes on the material you just read, and bring those notes to class. So if your instructor is going to cover chapter 6 tomorrow, before tomorrow read chapter 6, take notes on chapter 6, and bring those notes to class. These are the type of notes that I take. You may want to have your notes expanded out, but these work really well for me. I quite literally write down the heading right from the textbook, whatever word for word in the textbook, and I put the page number in it. Then underneath that heading, I just list all the key words that are listed under that heading. Write down the heading, the page number, all the key words for that entire section that I'm going to read. And you bring these notes to class. So you're sitting there in the classroom, you have these notes on your left-hand side, the notes you're taking in the classroom on your right-hand side. And you're taking notes like normal, but you're paying attention to the notes that you've taken from class. When the instructor talks about something that the book talked about, I put a star on it. The instructor thought it was important, and the book thought it was important. There's a very good chance that this stuff is going to be on a quiz, and this stuff is going to be on the exam. If the instructor just casually mentioned it, I put a question mark by it. This is the stuff that the book thought was important, and the instructor thought, it's important enough to mention, that's it. But if the instructor didn't even come close to talking about it, I just cross it off. Then I'm going to have this whole long list of all these stars and question marks and crosses offs. I'm going to spend most of my study time studying the things that are starred. This is the important stuff. Chances are very good this material is going to be on quizzes and exams. I'm going to spend other time, my remainder time, studying my question marks. This is maybe stuff that's going to be on the quizzes and exams. I'm going to spend little to no time studying the stuff I've crossed off. This stuff is probably not going to be on the quizzes and exams. Then I use these notes to test myself. Can I say out loud what this heading means in my own words while I incorporate these key words? If I can, I just check it off. If I cannot, then I know this is something I need to study, and I have my page number written down so I can go right back to the textbook and don't have to hunt through the textbook. And eventually I'm going to have this whole long list of check, 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 check. I'm not going to continue to study all of the stuff I've checked off. That's the stuff I'm going to review. Remember, it's the studying it, the summarizing it, the paraphrasing it that gets it into your memory. It's the reviewing it that keeps it in your memory. So I'm going to go through and review all my check marks, and I'm going to start limiting down my study time to the stuff that I just know I need to study. I think this is the single most powerful get better grade strategy. To read the material before class, take notes on that material, and bring those notes to class. Then you can do the stars and question marks and checks, however you want to annotate it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work the other way around. You cannot take your notes from class and compare them to the textbook. And the reason for that is you've left off all of these question marks. You probably left off quite a few stars. Because how the instructor mentioned it didn't make it sound important enough for you to actually put in your notes. So you have all of the maybe questions are just totally left off of your notes. Very powerful study strategy. This one is solely a get better grade strategy. has nothing to do with learning the material any better, has nothing to do with studying. It's solely a get better grade strategy. It is to predict questions as if you were the instructor. So you actually pretend you're the instructor and you predict test questions and quiz questions. The way you use this strategy is the first time you read your textbook, you read it as a student. But then you go back and you read that section that you're going to be quizzed over or have the exam over, and you read that as the instructor. And what you're doing is you're specifically looking for questions for those quizzes and exams. If you can find the quiz questions, so can the instructor. As you're going through college, pay attention to the type of questions your instructor likes. Do they like multiple choice, true and false, fill in the blank, short answer, essay questions? Pay attention to the type of questions. It won't take very long to become familiar with how your instructor likes to give quizzes and exams. And then as you're going through that textbook, look to see, can you find those multiple choice questions? Can you find those true and false questions? Just one of the easiest questions to write is a fill in the blank question. I just copy out word for word some sentence in the textbook that has a keyword in it, delete out the keyword, I have a fill in the blank question. It's very easy to change those into multiple choice questions. This is just knowing what questions, or at least many of the questions, that are going to be on the quizzes and exams before the quizzes and exams actually come about. Very powerful get better grade strategy, but once again it has really nothing to do with studying or learning the material.